So, good afternoon, everyone. I am here with Megan from AF Jones for our next round of interviews with some incredible women in natural stones. So, Megan, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself and tell us what you do at AF Jones?
Yeah, thanks, Becca. My name is Megan. I am the Manager at AF Jones Stonemasons. AF Jones is a stone subcontractor. We work across, well, we have our own production, in-house production, design, site fit, and we work across three different specific subsectors, which are interiors, well, stone interiors, stone architecture, and also stone heritage as well. And my role in that is working with sort of key leaders across the business, across the site fix, production, but then also finance, sort of processes and systems, as well as marketing. So yeah, it's a really general role, and yeah, it's great to get to see some incredible buildings, but also work with some great people as well, which is it's good.
And I mean, like us, you're a small family-run business as well, not quite as small as us. So yeah, it's one of those jobs, isn't it, where you kind of lots of different hats and get involved with those things, which is really exciting. So we'll get straight stuck in with my first question for you, which is, who inspires you?
So yeah, it's a bit of a rogue one, really. Person that I picked that inspires me the most is a lady called Grace Beverley. So sort of bigging up the female young leader. She founded two companies while she was at the University of Oxford, which are called Tala and Shreddy. And she's completely changing the face of what sort of active wear looks like in relation to she really pushes like sustainability. They're affordable and they also look great as well. So she's the Forbes under 30, and she did this all before she was 25. And she's just an incredible woman leader that scaled these businesses, and so is a huge sort of role model to me, and it's just an icon in scaling up a business and an absolute marketing guru as well. So yeah, I'd encourage anyone who hasn't heard of her to look her up, because she's super inspiring and just really cool person to follow as well.
Sounds amazing. I mean, running a business at any age is amazing, and I'm always in awe of anybody who does it while they're juggling something else as well, like university and things like that. So yeah, I'll definitely be looking her up. She sounds like an amazing woman.
Yeah.
And so my next question for you would be, what motivates you to get out of bed in the morning, especially on cold, drizzly mornings like we've had this week?
Oh dear. To be fair, the first thing I probably think about is coffee and food. That's normally my number one go-to in the morning. Can't start the day without coffee or breakfast. I get very hungry. But on top of that, it's anyone that knows me will know I'm hugely competitive. I want to be the best that I can be, whatever I do. So for me, that's sort of what motivates me. But then from a professional point of view, from AF Jones, there's so much opportunity and room for development and growth. For me, that's just so exciting, and to be able to push that direction, and with the great team around me as well, that is really what motivates me, and thinking about where we can go as a business, but then also the team that we have as well. Like, we've got some incredibly talented and hardworking people, but they're also great fun as well, knowing that you're going to work in the morning and you've got a great team that you can have a laugh with and have good fun with, as well as doing some really cool work, is also really important and what drives me too.
Definitely. I really like the honesty as well. People always go straight in for some sort of philosophical answer, but actually I can't cope without coffee either. And I think actually, like, let's face it, we all look forward to our breakfast, so I can't argue with that. But I think it's definitely true, and it's something that I feel like you, so honoured by, is actually being able to go to work and have a great team, and having the opportunity to choose that team as well. And it is that excitement when you've got so much. We were just talking about all the exciting things that are going on in both our businesses, and I think that's one of the really motivating things, is when you've just got so much coming at you that there's just always something new, and it does just keep you going, and you want to get up and crack on with the next thing. So yeah, I can't argue with that at all. And so thinking about obviously family businesses and our roles and things like that, what do you think are the advantages of being a woman in this industry?
There are so many advantages of women in business in general, not only just our industry. I think it's no secret that women and men are quite different. Obviously, a huge generalization, but women think about things, or from my experience, women think about things differently. They approach problems differently. They communicate differently. Their priorities are different. And so having a diverse team within your business is so important. So the more women that can be within the stone industry, the better. And it's also been proven that the more diverse teams you have, the more effective you are, and the more profitable you are at the end of the day as well. So that can only be a good thing. And I think being women in the industry, like what you're doing with Wins, is absolutely incredible, because you can drive that awareness, and that will only improve the stone industry as a whole. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. It's something that I'm really aware of, is actually the differences in how we think and approach things as men and women. And actually it's something I've previously worked in really female dominated world. So actually for me, it's really opened my eyes as to what having more men on my team can bring to me, and the different perspective. And I think it is really about that balance. And as I say, through Wins, hopefully we can encourage even more women in the industry and kind of regain that balance, so that we all continue to learn and the stone industry benefits from that as a whole. So yeah, absolutely agree with that. And so obviously thinking of kind of coming into the industry, and you haven't always been in the industry, but what advice would you have given to yourself 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think 10 years ago, I was consumed with what grad scheme I was going to get on, what sort of university I was going to go to, what educational qualifications I was going to get to enable me to get to where I wanted to. And it was very stressful. It was very all-consuming. And where I was, that was the only route available to me. So that's very much what my school pushed me down to do. And it seemed like the only option. So I sort of just took it and went with it. But I think, had I known that there were so many different other options that you can take to get to where you want to be, and to give you loads of different options, then I think that would have been a really useful piece of advice. And I think it's not, people aren't educated enough at that point in their life on the different routes that they can take, because university is not for everyone. Doing like sort of traditional education is not for everyone, but you can still achieve really like amazing things by doing apprentices, MVQs. There are so many different options. So the more we can educate people coming out of school and colleges on the different routes that are not sort of traditional per se, I think the better. So yeah, that would be the advice I'd give myself.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think there's a massive difference between school and education. And I think a lot of what we do at school is learning to pass exams, and there's all of that pressure if there's the next set and the next set and the next set. And actually, as you say, there's so many more routes, and there's more to life than just passing an exam. And I think there's that whole piece on education and understanding. And yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think my schooling, like yours, really led me down the university route. So it never would have crossed my mind that I'd be running a business right now. So yeah, I think that's really good advice for people to kind of open their eyes and have the opportunity to look outside the box, really.
Yeah, and I think especially within the stone industry, um, so the apprenticeship schemes available are so important. It's the complete lifeblood of our industry. So the more we can support that, the better. Because without that, yeah, it's going to be a very difficult future.
Definitely. And thinking of the stone industry, what advice would you give to a woman who's looking to come into our industry?
Um, so in terms of advice I would give people, is just to really be, I mean, it's something that I've heard a lot over my career, whether in the stone industry or not, is just to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So say yes to everything. Sort of put yourself out there, go out of your comfort zone. It's very difficult, but know that making mistakes is actually okay, because if you make mistakes, you learn from them and you grow. So you can't actually develop without doing that, and having that cultural mindset is really important. So it's something that we within the business sort of promote quite a lot, is that making mistakes is fine. We just learn from them. We want people to push themselves outside of their comfort zone, and we want people to develop. So for someone and a woman coming into the industry, just put your hand up, say yes to sort of every opportunity you can, get the most experience you can, because I think a lot of people never regret saying yes to something, because if you say yes to something, you either learn from it or it's a great idea and it goes really well. But a lot of people go, oh yeah, I wish I'd done that. So don't put yourself in that position. Just, yeah, put your hand up and go for it, basically.
Just exactly like you have done today. This is living your own advice. But I definitely agree with that. I think you can't regret something that you've done. I think you regret the things that you haven't done. And there's doors continue to open the more you say yes, and the more you're open to opportunity. And there really is endless opportunity and possibility within our industry, because it's such a welcoming industry. So yeah, there's I think that's fantastic advice for anyone in any walk of life as well. And so I'm really interested by this one. It's always my favourite question to ask everybody. Of which is what is the most memorable moment from your career and why?
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier sort of being a family company. So previous to working at F. Jones, I worked in a very big corporate company, where like I absolutely loved it. I had great friends. I loved what I was doing. So making the decision to join F. Jones was probably the biggest decision that I've made in my career, and something that I will remember forever. So it was a huge risk leaving that environment that I loved, to do something completely out of my comfort zone in a completely new industry with new people. And also it's a family business as well, so that's always has risks that come with it as well. But it's been absolutely great. And I think the most memorable part is something very personal to me, in that when I decided to join, telling my grandma that I was going to join the company. I will remember it for the rest of my life, because I went in, she was like, oh, what are you up to? And I said, oh yeah, I've actually decided to leave my current company. She was like, oh, where are you going? And I said, yeah, I'm going to join F. Jones. And she pretty much just dropped everything that she was holding, burst into tears. And it was just one of those moments that, yeah, I will remember forever, because yeah, it meant a lot. And yeah, it was just really lovely, really, really lovely. But it's been one of the best decisions that I've made. And yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. So for me, that will always be very memorable.
I absolutely love that. I'm so pleased you had that reaction and didn't just go, oh, what a terrible decision, Megan.
Yeah, can you imagine? That would have been good, wouldn't it?
That would have been a very different memorable moment.
Yeah, probably not something I would have talked about on here either.
No, I love that. And honestly, I absolutely agree with that. Likewise, for me, one of the biggest decisions I made was quitting my job and joining Dave in the company, which seems just as mad and crazy and scary a decision. And I think for the first 2 years, it always felt a little bit mad and scary and crazy. But now I just couldn't imagine it any other way. Like once you get, I think that's something about the stone industry. Once you get into the stone industry, you're in it for life. Like it's such an amazing, incredible industry. There's so much warmth and love. And I think even being in a small family business, you get that big company feel from everybody else that you interact with, because everyone's so collaborative, cooperative, approachable. So yeah, no, I'm pleased that you joined the stone industry as well. Well, brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, Megan, today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we will be back soon with some more amazing women in natural stone. But we'll leave it there for now. So thank you very much, Megan.
Well, thanks, Becca. Bye.